Welcome to Crushing Kayfabe. My name is Jason Garish, and thank you for tuning in. I'd like to give a shout out before I get started to Miss June at work. Gave me this awesome shirt yesterday. Really happy. Great, beautiful shirt. Thank you so much. She's a veteran herself, and very grateful for her service and for this awesome looking shirt. Thank you so much. Before we get too involved with the rest of the show, I'd like to give some acknowledgement out to Jerry Jarrett. Unfortunately, died on February 14th. Died on Valentine's Day. His presence in wrestling, his influence presence cannot be understated, especially here in Tennessee. I mean, cannot be overstated, I should say. I'm using the wrong word choice there. I apologize. Often it is understated, unfortunately. He doesn't get a lot of the acknowledgement and credit that he deserves, because he really does deserve a lot of credit. He was a wrestler himself. He was born in 1942, Nashville, Tennessee. He started the Memphis, Tennessee-based Continental Wrestling Association in 1977 that merged with WCCW and eventually sold that off to Jerry Lawler, who obviously everyone is very familiar with. But Jerry, in a lot of ways, was very responsible for the career of Jerry Lawler, and Jerry Lawler wouldn't have been anywhere near as successful or would have had any of the a lot of the career that he did have was because of Jerry Jarrett. So that's one individual right there that owes his career to Jerry Jarrett. I mean, obviously, Jarrett is probably best known for being the father of Jeff Jarrett, but it goes much deeper than that. Fortunately, I should say. Like I said, he founded the Continental Wrestling Association in '77. He was a wrestler himself, actually. Before that, he was a wrestler, but and he did wrestle within that federation from time to time, whatnot. But went on to be very prominent in the Nashville wrestling scene. Went on to eventually co-found TNA with Jeff Jarrett, and obviously nowadays is known as Impact Wrestling, but there would be no Impact Wrestling if it wasn't for Jerry Jarrett. Now, I don't know how true this is, but I'd heard that he was actually in line at some point, if anything was happened to like Vince Sr., and he was thought of as possibly taking over WWE or WWF back then, I should say. I don't know how true that is. I know that actually it was after that. Actually, it was talk of it when Vince McMahon Jr. was indicted on the whole steroids thing and was held before a grand jury. So even after that, I should say, I was mistaken. But widely influential and one of the underappreciated people within the wrestling industry, and he should get a lot more props and a lot more recognition that he does. And why he's not in the Wrestling Hall of Fame, WWE Hall of Fame, I have no idea. If you hear some background noise, I don't think it's picking up, but that's just my son playing with a very annoying toy next room over, which he shouldn't be, but such is life. But back to Jerry Jarrett. Like I mentioned, would be no Impact Wrestling without Jerry Jarrett. And I was a huge TNA fan back in the day. I really enjoyed a lot of the stuff they did. This is obviously the pre Dixie Carter days, pre Vince Russo days, but I mean, and if you really look at the history of TNA, they actually were a lot more successful in some ways than they're given credit for and acknowledgement for. I mean, they had much higher ratings with Spike Television, which is now defunct, unfortunately. But then AEW has most of the time. So they were probably even more of a threat to WWE than AEW currently is. The only thing that AEW was a threat to was their farm league NXT. But was very responsible for starting the careers of many, many wrestlers, and the wrestling world owes a tremendous debt of gratitude. If I could actually speak today, I apologize to Jerry Jarrett. Unfortunately, he died of is it it's esophagus cancer. Is basically what it is, esophageal cancer. If I'm saying that correctly, I'm probably not. But he died February 14th at the age of 80, and the wrestling world owes him a lot. So rest in peace, Jerry Jarrett. Like I said, very responsible for the careers of a lot of prominent wrestlers and the foundation of wrestling as it is now. So, especially, like I said, being in Tennessee, Tennessee wrestling owes him a tremendous debt of gratitude. And thank you, Jerry, for everything you've done. Thank you. And some good news. I don't have the full details, but Jay Briscoe's daughters are being released from the hospital and going home. So yay! Thank God for that. Thank God for that. They were in critical condition, if I'm not mistaken. They were in some bad shape for quite a while, and I know it was. I don't know how much of and I mixed two daughters up. I apologize, but I don't know how much one of them has regained use of her legs, and I'm not sure how that is all panning out. Hopefully, through physical therapy and through the surgical procedures, they are able to restore that, because that would be excellent. Won't bring their father back, unfortunately. But Mark's been performing well and has been paying tribute to his brother on national television on AEW, and big props out to him for carrying on and being the solo wrestler right now, singles wrestler that he is. So I know that must be extremely difficult right now for him, but he's carrying on, thankfully. Just keep looking over. I'm sorry, but I keep hearing noise in the other room, and hopefully everything's okay. Obviously my wife's home, so she can watch Little Waylon while I do this. But yeah, prayers going out to them. I saw a picture. They looked pretty happy. I mean, I can imagine they would be getting out of the hospital. Like I said, it doesn't bring their father back, but it's great news seeing that they are going home and will be able to live their lives best they can. A much better note, we had Elimination Chamber this weekend. Some really high points, some really low points. I'm happy that Asuka won the women's chamber. Real happy about that. I really didn't want to see Carmella. When it came down to Carmella and her, I was like, oh man, I really did not want to see that. But I'm really happy to see Asuka is going to get her WrestleMania moment. Happy about that. In addition to that, we had the Lesnar Bobby Lashley match, and what can I say? Once again, from a technical standpoint, really disappointing. But we had a heel turn, basically double turn. We had Bobby Lashley kind of going babyface and Brock Lesnar going heel. This turn makes absolutely no sense to me. So I guess I'll be watching to see if they let's see what comes out of this and see what they do with it, because I was liking Brock Lesnar as a babyface, and I was liking Bobby Lashley as a heel. I really enjoyed the whole confrontation they had previously, where Lashley came out and kind of waited for Lesnar to sign the contract for the Elimination Chamber. I was really enjoyed that segment, so I was hoping they'd go along those lines. So not real happy with this, but we'll see where it goes. I'm willing to watch where this ends, because I just want to see these two wrestle. I'm really, every time they've met up, it's been really disappointing. And to see these two guys who have an MMA background, a wrestling background, a real wrestling background, I really want to see a wrestling match between these guys. But they came out and hit each other's finishers repeatedly, and it was kind of boring once again. It seems like this is the match you want to do, and this is not the match I want to see between these two guys. I want to see a lengthy, drawn-out, technical match, and I have a feeling that I'm never going to get that, unfortunately, because both these guys, can wrestle, and it's almost like Lesnar's just gotten lazy over the years. He just wants his F5, he wants his suplex, and then go home. And that's too bad, because the guy's one of the most gifted athletes in history. And to kind of go out there and half-ass matches the way he is, it's really disappointing, especially against an incredible athlete like Bobby Lashley. They should be able to pull something great off. And so far, it's been extremely disappointing every single turn. So I'm hoping if they do meet up in WrestleMania, I'm hoping they have a lengthy match and do something good with this, because it's been garbage so far, and I'm not happy about that. First confrontation I liked between them that was the one that they had with the contract signing, and I was hoping they'd prolong things along those lines. I really was, but they didn't, and we kind of got the whole disappointment as it is right now with it. But we'll see what they do. I'm looking forward. Under Triple H, I'm not writing anything off, because creatively he's been excellent so far. We had the men's Elimination Chamber match, obviously, which resulted in Austin Theory retaining the belt, which I was happy about. I was kind of hoping to see him retain. If he didn't, I was kind of hoping to see Damian Priest get it, but he did retain via a screw job from Logan Paul. So they're setting up this feud with Paul and Seth Rollins. Looks like it's going into WrestleMania. WrestleMania is, 6 weeks away, I think? So it looks like they're going to continue to set this feud up. Okay, I can deal with this. Logan Paul has really proven himself to be outstanding. So I look forward to any match he's in at this point. And Seth should be able to put on a good show. So I think that'll be a good matchup between those two. They'll have good chemistry. They'll put on a good show and actually put on a wrestling match. I don't know how the hell Logan Paul is doing what he is doing, being so new to wrestling, but it's incredible. It's great. They set up the quote-unquote injury with Montavious Ford, but that was kayfabe and completely designed so that the door would be open so Logan Paul could get in. So as far as the best of my knowledge goes, Ford is not at all injured as far as I know. It's been strictly storyline to set up Logan Paul going in and screwing over Seth Rollins, to get that feud going for WrestleMania. It's already going, but to further it. So we'll be looking forward to that WrestleMania. Cute little skit they did with the whole Seth Rollins being Joker thing, and then Becky coming in as Batman. It was a little weird, but it was interesting. It was cool. They did this the last time they were in Hollywood. They kind of did these little Hollywood-based skits parodying different movies, and this one was pretty good. It was well produced, it was well done. I wasn't sure initially where they were going with it, because Rollins' makeup was a little more Crow-like than Joker-esque, if I can use that word. But it worked. The ending with Becky was a little weird, but she pulled off the Batman thing, pulled off the Batman voice. They should have at least put ears on her or something. Kind of did the Batman costume a little bit more, but it still worked. It was cool. It was good to see the interaction between the two, and it was a fun little skit. So I enjoyed that. I wish they did more though. I'm assuming they're probably going to do a lot more leading up to WrestleMania, since it is in Hollywood, it is in Los Angeles. So I'm sure they'll set more up going into it, and they'll do more skits. The last time they were in Hollywood, they did similar things. They did the whole parodies of different movies. So I think they did Taxi Driver 1, A Few Good Men 1. They did, was a Forrest Gump one. I think they did a bunch of them that were really good, and I'm looking forward to seeing those leading up to WrestleMania. But no more pay-per-views leading up to WrestleMania. This was it, and this is a big one to lead into. I mean, because normally Elimination Chamber is kind of a throwaway pay-per-view, but thanks to the whole Bloodline plotline, it was a major thing, especially being in Montreal. I mean, what can I say about this whole Bloodline feud other than that the booking has been absolutely brilliant. This is one of the best feuds. This is one of the best storylines I've ever seen in all of wrestling. And all the people involved have been absolutely brilliant and perfect. The Usos, Sami Zayn, and Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns, and I didn't think I'd ever get to say that about Roman Reigns, but his acting, and even his ring work has been perfect. So this has been some of the best as far as wrestling. And then with the inclusion of Cody Rhodes and prolonging that storyline, there isn't anything that they've missed so far, and any issues that popped up they've addressed, which has been excellent. And then to see Montreal native Sami Zayn walk into Montreal with the fanfare that he received was absolutely incredible. The audience was absolutely hot for this. Incredible pop for Sammy's music. Incredible entrance. And Reigns hit the heel job perfectly. Just did it perfectly. Taunting the crowd, speaking to the crowd. They had him mic'd up, which was great. Just perfect. Just absolutely perfect. And really emotional. And I wasn't expecting a technical match, and they shouldn't have had a great technical match, even though I know Sami Zayn can pull it off. When you've got emotions high like that, you shouldn't go out there and execute, wrestling moves, even though they did do a, collar elbow hookup initially, but so what? And had some headlocks in there too. But other than that, it was pretty much a slugfest. They had me several times too, where I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I wasn't sure if Sammy was going to take the belt. I wasn't sure if Reigns was going to take the belt. I did know that there was going to be some kind of tomfoolery, some kind of dusty finish or some garbage going into it. Of course, you had to have it because you couldn't have Sammy look weak and you couldn't have Roman look weak. I mean, at one point, Sammy pinned Roman for like a 10 count, and obviously the referee had been knocked unconscious, so he couldn't count it. So both wrestlers came out of that looking strong. Nobody looked weak coming out of it, which gives me an indication that they could be furthering this feud even more, which I really hope they do. Because I'd like to see them break up the titles and have Cody fight for one night and Sammy fight for one the other night. Because, I mean, we're having WrestleMania go over the course of 2 nights. Why not? Why not work it like that? Why not? And at the end of this, of course, Kevin Owens comes out, who is also, Canadian, is also a Montreal native. So you can imagine, well, you don't have to if you watched it, the amazing pop that he got when he came out, which was great, and having him wait till last minute, I think it was the right thing to do. He's received some criticism because, he was getting hit with, Sam was getting hit with the chair before, this, that, and the other thing. Why didn't he come out? But I thought it was appropriate for him to come out at the end, just for storyline purposes, because you didn't want to see him intervene or interfere with the finish kind of thing and influence that. So it makes Sammy look like even more of a babyface, in my opinion. But to see those two reunite, and they didn't have a, hug it out, come to Jesus moment at the end, which I kind of like too, because it kind of saves face for Kevin and whatnot. We still have the gray area of Jey Uso. Since Roman moved out of the way and allowed Sammy to spear Jey, I think that's going to further, or I should say, create a new feud. I know there's been kind of tension between him and Roman Reigns, but I think this is going to reignite the feud between them. So this sets up so many possible plot lines. I mean, that could be even Jey versus Roman. But the one thing it did do is expose more cracks in the foundation of the bloodline, which is going to create even more drama and further the storyline for months now, I think. I mean, the only problem I have, though, is at some point all of this is going to have to come to some kind of culmination, some kind of climax, because from rumors I'm hearing, Reigns is going to take a little break for a while, which makes sense, for health purposes wise. Why not go off, maybe do a small part in a movie or whatnot. I think that would be the right timing, and I think it would be the right thing to do, because before this whole bloodline things get stale. But it's good that they're coming into WrestleMania hot. I hope they further this storyline. I hope they can sustain it and keep it going, because it's been Wrestling 101. Anybody that wants to get into the wrestling industry, anybody who wants to book matches, anybody who wants to wrestle, anyone who wants to manage, I mean, I really think down the road they should create a textbook based on this whole entire feud, because it's been that good, it's been that perfect, it's been excellent. They need to do that, and they should just make a compilation of videos and force everyone who wants to get into the industry to watch that. because this has been that good, in my opinion. Really been that good. Other than that, unfortunately, I'm kind of running out of time. I've got about 5 minutes left. But before I get too crazy, once again, send Miss June, thank you so much for giving me this shirt, which you can see if you're watching the video on Spotify or watching YouTube right now. But thanks to all our veterans. We don't give them enough gratitude, but thank you for everything that you guys have done. What else? Props going out to Then and Now Flea Market. If you're in Trenton, Tennessee, please go down to the square and check them out. That's Then and Now Flea Market. You can get some handcrafted items that my wife made, and you can buy some of my CDs. So Then and Now in downtown Trenton, right on the square. Check out Trenton Tabletop and Gaming, Trenton Tabletop and Arcade. It's become a running joke that every week I screw that up. But Trenton Tabletop and Arcade, thank you. I apologize. Thank God the guy is cool and has a good sense of humor. But go check them out. They now have a pool table. They have openings for games. You can do a ton. So check them out, and it's really good for the community, I think. Giving kids someplace to play like that, and giving adults someplace to play like that. So check them out, Trenton Tabletop and Arcade. Other than that, check out CrushingKayfabe.com, Crushing with a K, CrushingKayfabe.com, and check us out on Patreon, because for $1 a month, you can help keep the lights on here and help keep the show going. Just for $1 a month, I would be eternally grateful to you. You can get the shows ad-free on there, so whether you want to watch the video or listen to the audio, do it ad-free on patreon.com for just $1 a month. And to close things out, I'd like to say prayers still going out to the Ukrainians. Give to UNICEF and the Red Cross, or any legitimate organization that's helping them out, because they desperately need it. So So please, prayers and thoughts going out to the Ukrainian people. We support and love you guys. Keep fighting, and God bless. Well, everyone, thank you for tuning in. That's our show for today. Once again, thank you, and God bless.